right, good afternoon. Welcome in. It's Bettor's Last Stand. Matt, Chris, Coach here with you in the Pine Room Studios as these guys get ready for a big bocce match tonight. So we'll move at a brisk pace today. I can't distract them on game day, but they were nice enough to take time out of their day. It's sweltering hot outside. No air moving at all, but I did get a word that it's supposed to be a lot better for the weekend, so that is good.
We just got to dodge the rain, and there's a chance of
some isn't rain. It? I thought the rain was Friday, or is it?
No, it's Saturday. It looks like I keep getting different. Saturday night into Sunday, Saturday morning, then clearing out. I don't know, but it looks like there's only 40% chance. But the one thing is, it's going to cool down. Well, and then it gets into the 70s, so I think we're good. And,
let's hope we stay there.
Getting more, I think that's it. I think this is the last day of misery. So,
well, Matt, I noticed the other night it was like 8:15. It was damn near dark.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a plus.
I said that. I said that to Jarrett last night. I said, "Oh my God, it's dark out. It was like 8."
Yeah, this has been brutal though. This heat.
It's really
well.
Bad.
We had week number 1 at the Pine Room opening weekend. Went very well. We had a great time. Lots of winners to be had. Lots of losers also. But everybody that showed up had a wonderful time. And
record crowd, Coach?
Probably over 30. Yeah. In that picture, there were like 25 in it. We took a group picture about 25.
Well, at least 2 of those were newcomers.
Yeah,
weren't they? Ryan and
Coach Young, and they both texted.
Rick Marsh
said they had a great time.
Yeah, well, it was fun.
We'll keep it going this week. Hopefully, the rain holds off and the temperatures break. And we got the Pine Room golf outing, the World Golf Championship outing at the Pine Room. We'll be at the Par 3 at Oglebay on Sunday morning. So stay tuned for videos and all kinds of fun things from that. Sponsored by Jill's Gentlemen's Club. Yeah, it's going to be a fun day.
We're hearing that some guys are getting some secret practice in, and I won't reveal any names because we've sworn to secrecy.
It might benefit me, but I don't.
Doubtful.
Well, what's it going to do for your game other than your teammate has to carry your ass?
Just carry me.
No, that's good. So you're not the one out there practicing.
Oh, no.
He did last year, and he realized it's a waste of time.
What am I doing?
It's a waste of
Could you imagine practicing out there in this shit right now?
No.
God, I'd rather lose. Yeah. But odds will be out for the World Golf Championship later in the week, and we will have the event on Sunday, NFL opening day. So lots going on. If you haven't checked out the Pine Room at the Pine Room Studios, be sure and check out all the stuff we got going on right now. We had Mike Florio in this very studio last Thursday. He was great. We spent about an hour and a half with him talking NFL, talking about his new book, Father of Mine, and a bunch of other stuff. Just an enjoyable experience for all of us here at the Pine Room. So we're very thankful and happy Mike was able to join us, and we wish him a good NFL season, and we will hopefully get together with him during the offseason. So, yeah, fun times. And if you missed anything about that, any of the clips that Jarrett and the social media guys have been putting up all week, be sure and check out the podcast. It's featuring Mike Florio this week. So if you haven't checked that out yet, go back and look at it. We got a little 10, 15 minutes of us talking about it, and then it's all Mike. So a really good watch, and I think people have thoroughly enjoyed the content that we've put out so far. So again, thanks to Mike, thanks to Coach, thanks to the Payne brothers for setting that up, and it's really awesome to have a friend like that, as big a name as that in the NFL industry, a guy that's patting us on the back, telling us we're doing a pretty good job too. So
yeah, and
awesome stuff.
I think Soup sent out that Pro Football Talk only follows 112 people.
Yeah,
in the entire country, and we're one of them. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool stuff.
Basically, everybody else on there is a former player or a media person. So so it's a good thing. So keep your eyes out for that stuff as it comes out. Again, it'll be out yesterday when you're watching this. So enjoy that. Thanks again to our friends at Jill's Gentlemen's Club and Gumby's. We'll be at Gumby's in Elm Grove again on Friday for our high school football show. Actually, our Football Friday show. It's a lot of high school, but we'll talk college and pro as well because we got week 1 of NFL, of course. So lots of action, 12 to 3. Be sure and tune in on the Watchdog. Should be a really fun time. Hopefully the weather's okay for us. And we will be in Duggar's Saucy Spread Challenge week 3. So great sponsors we have, Gumby's, Jill's, Duggar's, and IC Cab. Can't forget about them. They've done awesome work for us too. So if you haven't checked out the IC Cab commercial involving a few of the mascots from the area, be sure to check that out. And a lot of the other things that are going up daily at the Pine Room Studios. You can follow us, BLS_PRP. I tweeted out all the picks that we have for the year for Coach Chris and I, all of our prognostications, win totals and such. So be tracking those throughout the season. Again, we were 20 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie last year. Well, I'm already off to a horrible start with mine with Baylor after that debacle last week. So Baylor's killing the Pine Room right now. We got all kinds of problems. So cousin Jake's got to get to work. We need to bounce back big right now if we're Baylor.
This is it this week. If Utah rolls them this week,
Hey, Veranda might be canned by the end of it.
We got problems.
Yeah. So anyway, keep an eye out for us on the Pine Room. All the stuff, Bettor's Last Stand, Soup and Stuff, and the regular Pine Room podcast, all the video blogs, all the social media, all the stuff that we have going on. We appreciate all the support of everybody. It wasn't a great week for us last week. We were down 3.5 units. Sam was 3-0 in Formula One racing, and I did okay in tennis and soccer, but I was not good in college football. But like Coach remarked before we started rolling here, I actually had a pretty decent weekend in football, but my key plays didn't turn out very good. So, yeah, sorry about that. But, yeah, it was a rough week, but we got plenty more weeks to make up for it here, so we're going to try to do that today. Before we get into college football here in segment 1, we're going to talk a little bit of baseball. Our Cubbies playing really well right now, Coach. I think they could be a dangerous team to battle in the playoffs. But right now, I say, as we say it pretty much every week, Atlanta really has a stranglehold on the National League now, especially with the Dodgers in the Urias situation. Yeah. They're now relying on a Clayton Kershaw who's not 100% quite yet, and now Lance Lynn is your number 2. Do you guys see any chance that the Dodgers can maybe pull it together enough that they could beat the Braves in a series? And does Michael Grove play a role at all for the Dodgers?
That's a great question. Those are 2 real good questions.
Have you heard from him lately, Mark?
I have not. I might reach out to him later today just to see what his status is. But he's been on the IL since since August 5th, and I don't know. That's probably just a roster IL, right, I would think. But I don't know what their plans are with him, especially with their mess with their pitching staff now.
Yes.
So I don't know. Atlanta's just too good for me. They're just too.
Yeah, Matt. I don't think they can I shouldn't say overcome, but I think that's really going to hurt the Dodgers and their pitching.
Yeah.
It's been suspect, and
right,
and how much can they get out of Kershaw?
He's going to do fine. Right. I don't think he's going to be the problem. It's going to be the other guys behind him. I mean, he's not nearly what he once was, right, but he'll still be solid. But the rest of the guys, it's going to be a struggle to find out who even they have as a number 2 and 3. I mean, Lance Lynn, you're counting on, and Gonsolin's gone, Urias is gone. Don't you think they wish they had Trevor Bauer back after that whole mess? Yeah. So I think right now I'd say the most dangerous team in the National League is the Phillies, other than the Braves. Mm-hmm. Obviously the Braves, but the Phillies haven't pitched very well lately, but they have been hitting. So I don't know. I think the Braves, as long as they don't get complacent, similar to how they did last year, I think they're going to be very hard to beat. It just seems like the NLCS is going to have to go through Atlanta. I just don't see another way around it. One other interesting tidbit, Pirates attendance up about 4,668 per game from last year, Chris. So what do you think about that number? Is it just they're just fooling people? Or people genuinely excited and think they actually have a chance to be good next year?
Well, you know what? The way they're finishing down the stretch here, that people will probably jump on board. I mean, after the way they started the season at 20-8, and they hit a lot of peaks and valleys. But
yeah,
I don't know. They'll probably if they can build on that for next year. So I mean, I guess 4,600 isn't that big of a deal, but it's an improvement.
And
I was watching an afternoon game today, and it looked like there was nobody there.
Yeah.
It was it was
hot.
Today's game?
Yeah.
I think I saw the box score said like 8,800.
Yeah. So, it was hot.
And then they said the game the night before that, I don't know, the organist or somebody was trying to get the crowd fired up, whatever.
I thought you were going to say organist passed out.
But they only did it once because, like, when they
dun.
Or they'll say charge, and they said nobody responded, so they stopped doing it.
Maybe they ought to just quit doing it because it's stupid.
Right. Well, that'd be the better reason.
Right. Because I always just think that was funny when someone would just say, charge. Like, okay, that'll get them going.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, man. Hey, you know what? Fireworks draws them in.
Fireworks.
They get a lot of usage out of that.
T-shirt, free T-shirts.
Free shirt Friday.
And again, coming up, I think on the 15th, Clemente again, hat giveaway for Roberto.
Boy, they can't.
Yeah.
They can't get enough out of him.
No,
Yeah.
they can't, and so
They did that thing where they honored Teak and those guys a few weeks ago. I mean, they're desperate. They'll do anything.
And then it was dog night too last night.
Oh, good.
I did see that.
I think I was
When's
their
cat
last
night? Can you bring your fish?
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're trying to be creative.
Well, they're a minor league outfit. That's why.
Pretty much.
And they're even going to find a place to be on television next year. That's the interesting thing to me.
And they shut down Skeens for the rest of the year.
I saw that. Yeah.
Well, he will not.
They'll ruin him.
He won't be
They'll
on
ruin
the
him.
opening day roster. I don't think. Like as far as the
No,
active roster,
no.
they'll wait to bring him up when they need a boost after they lose 8 in a row.
And then real quick, we'll move on. What is the deal with Henry Davis? I haven't heard a thing about him.
That's an interesting question. What happened to
No
him?
one even talks about him
They
anymore.
don't. I mean, he's still on the roster. I don't know if he's on IL. But they never mention him. He hasn't. Well, he's never caught other than a couple innings. But to me, it just seems like they already start. They're off on the wrong foot with this guy who caught his whole career in college. And we're just going to put you in right. And then he fucks up his
Boy, I totally
wrist.
forgot about that.
And
Chris.
it's just like Andy Rodriguez catches, and if he doesn't, then Jason DeLay did, which I think or does. I think he did today. But I don't know. Their operations really
Gives you a lot of faith going forward, doesn't it?
Questionable.
Yes, at least.
Yeah, to say the least. Reporter on the West Liberty Athletic Department.
Yes.
Questionable at the
Jesus,
very
that's-
least,
that's-
which we'll talk about on the Watchdog next week or
Oh,
later
man.
this week,
No,
actually, on Friday.
We're going to talk
Yeah,
about
so
that. I'd love to get one
Tune
of those
in.
bozos
If you want to
on.
hear about the latest debacle with that place,
Embarrassment.
We'll tell you about it
It's
then.
awful.
But anyway, Chris, I'd say it's your tribe's been put to bed.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
my
over
God.
with for them.
Yep, and you know what? And what's his name? Francona's just riding it out.
Yeah,
I think
he can
he's
only
gonna
do so
step,
much.
And he's going to step down. At the end
I
of the
knew
year.
it was a bad sign when they tried to resurrect Giolito. I mean, that guy is just a mess.
Well, and
so.
who did they get prior to that? The guy that used to
Syndergaard, yeah. That's unlike Cleveland. Usually they're very stable pitching wise at this point.
And I think when they made those trade deadlines,
they traded Aaron Savali,
and they were only a couple games out.
That
That ruined them there.
message.
So
yeah. So the things are starting to take shape here. The Astros look like they're kind of ascending to the West, which a lot of people thought they just would be steady. Braves and Dodgers have it on cruise control. Cubs and Brewers are going to have a good stretch run here. Those two, I think. That's going to be close. The Twins look like they're in good shape. Baltimore has its largest lead that they've had in a long time, or if at all this year. So they're starting to look like they're going to be safely in the playoffs. But Toronto, Tampa, those are teams to keep an eye on. And then the two teams other than the Astros in the West. If the Mariners can keep it up and the Rangers can start to bounce back.
And then what's going to be the big question in my mind is what teams are going to pack it in and what teams are going to try to play spoiler. Yeah, because I think the Pirates are going to try to play spoiler. They're going to with these young guys, they're playing hard. They are. I look at a team like the Nationals; they'll play spoiler. Cardinals are done. They don't
absolutely finished.
They don't.
Padres will be finished here soon.
Yeah,
they're hanging on by a thread.
The Mets won't be any factor. So a lot's going to depend on team schedule because some of these teams are definitely done.
Yeah.
I mean they are.
If you get to play Chicago, I'll tell you another team that's been playing hard. They're not very good is Detroit. They play pretty hard, but again, like Coach said, these young teams who actually are looking forward, like maybe this was a stepping stone year for them, will be the ones that I would not want to be playing down the stretch. I think teams like the Angels probably be.
So when I listen to you say that, so what you're basically saying is that Manny Machado's not coming into the clubhouse and giving a roar like, come on, let's
go.
play.
Surprised he hasn't requested a trade for next year already.
Let's try
because it's not his fault. It's definitely not his fault.
No,
he would never once say it was his fault. And Tatis, I don't even know if that guy he's nuts. I think so.
Yeah.
Good luck if you're a Padre fan.
Yeah. So who plays the spoiler? Who gives it? Who goes out every night and tries to play hard, and who has absolutely packed it in? That's going to be the Cubs are going to sweep the. Who are the Cubs playing? I just saw it. They're winning 7-2.
They're playing the Giants.
The Giants. They're going to sweep them, and then can only gain a game on the. They've gained two.
Two,
So
yeah.
the
The Pirates
The Pirates have helped
playing a factor all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I'll give you guys props. You guys have been on the Cubs the entire season.
Yeah.
Even we've been anti-Brewer too.
I'm going to be interested in what the Reds do.
Yeah.
The big win for the Reds last night.
Yes.
Huge win.
They're teetering.
They are.
Reds.
And I sold them out about a week and a half ago. But
I don't think they've totally packed it in, but they need another couple of those jolting wins.
They got a huge one last night.
Was a big step.
Yeah, 7-6 against.
They got 3 in the bottom of the ninth to tie it.
Yep. So.
Anyway,
lots to come in the baseball department here on Bettor's Last Stand.
As you said Monday yesterday on the show, Matt, coming up on your favorite time of the year with the temperatures going down, the baseball playoffs, the football swinging into shape, getting dark early. Cool.
Yep, it's perfect.
I was going to say, you better include that, Mark. Getting dark early.
Yeah, so baseball's going to get really interesting.
Best time to be alive as a sports fan.
Yeah.
So.
And then the other thing you have to wonder is how hard the Braves are so far ahead and probably going to clinch everything here soon. Right. What will they start to do? I mean, will they keep playing? Will they try to set the all-time record for wins maybe? Or will they start resting guys just a little bit?
Really tough to decide what to do. I mean, you see it happen in sports so often with the Bruins this year in hockey.
And it killed them.
And then the Braves even last year. They hunt the Mets down and they win that division, and then they just go flat in the playoffs.
And you're remembered more for setting some type of in-season record and failing in the playoffs as you are the other way around.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody really cares.
Yeah, nobody remembered the Phillies were a third-place team last year. They made it to the World Series. I mean, they didn't win, but they made it. So lots of intrigue ahead in baseball for sure. All right, let's shift gears here. We're going to go to Coach's hot spot here. It's college football week 2.
Oh, geez.
We got, Chris, I know you're real excited. You'll be able to give us some big winners here, I'm sure. But that's okay, Chris, because we count on you for NFL. That's your expertise, just like we do for NBA. So that's your wheelhouse. Will depend on coach and Job for college football. So, Job probably doesn't even know it's week 2 yet. But anyway, he's probably still recovering from week 1, as am I. All right, let's not waste any time. Get into the games on Friday. Real quick, we don't really have anything on Thursday, so there's nothing really to talk about, I guess. Louisville, Murray State, we don't even need to worry. All right, Coach, this is an interesting matchup here. Your Jayhawks on Friday night, the night of this podcast is released, against Chris's Fighting Illini. Yeah. Both of you guys high on these teams for their season win totals. Kansas -3 at home, the total 56.5. Where are we leaning here, Coach?
Well, Kansas has their quarterback back. Jalen Daniels is back. He didn't play in the Missouri State game. They won by 31. I'm a little leery of this game, to be honest with you.
Right.
I'm leaning towards the under in this game. That's what I like. I lean to the under, but I'm not heavy on either team here.
Illinois, a stout defense, Chris.
Yes,
Tell us a little about your Illini and the game plan here against the Jayhawks.
They're coming off a big opening day win. And,
they didn't cover. But
I know, but they did.
That was one of your losses, unfortunately.
Right. Well, I can't get them all right. You know that.
No, I know it's tough.
But hey, big road tested Kansas. I agree with Mark. I think that's going to stay under the total, but I'm going to look for the Illini to pull off the victory.
Okay, wow.
Close game, though. It'll be close.
Like it. All right. I think it will be. I think that's actually a pretty good game on a Friday night.
Yeah, it is.
7:30 ESPN2. Check it out. All right, let's go. We got an 11 a.m. kick on Saturday morning, which is weird.
Why is that?
I have no idea. I don't know if it's some special thing at Wake Forest, but I was like, wait, is this right? And then I looked at several places, and it's listed at 11
everywhere. But isn't there going to be some more games like that at 11 o'clock starts?
I don't know.
I mean, that's still too early.
Well, a lot of these games started at 11, just not in our times.
Well, that's what I mean.
You got the Colorado and all these other teams. But Vanderbilt visits Wake Forest. Wake Forest -10, the total 57. Any thoughts here, guys? Any leans?
I lean towards Vandy in this game. Just a tick. They're 2-0. Haven't beat anybody, but I like them a little bit.
Okay, Chris.
I'm going to take the over, Matt.
Oh, okay.
What are you saying, Matt?
Don't love anything there.
I don't either.
Really don't. I don't. Wake Forest is a team that I'm still kind of waiting and seeing on because of with the quarterback changeover. Vanderbilt, I don't know what to make out of that. They barely beat Hawaii, and then Hawaii gets hammered. They may really suck, Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
But I don't trust Wake Forest yet either.
I don't either.
I'll be passing on that game. All right. Then if a Fighting Irish from Notre Dame visiting the NC State Wolfpack, Notre Dame -7.5, the total 51. This is a 12 noon kick on ABC. I like the Irish here a good bit.
Yeah.
Coach, where are you at on this
'em.
game? Okay.
Love the Irish again.
Ditto with you guys.
I think they just take care of business. Now, I will say NC State last season when they played Wake, they sacked Sam Hartman 4 times, and they really pressured him, but it's a lot different team here. Notre Dame's got a very good offensive line. They're able to run the football. If they give Hartman time, I think Notre Dame. I don't think that line is near enough.
Me either. The only thing I will say about this is a game that in recent years Notre Dame has had trouble with. They've lost some games they shouldn't have lost. This will kind of tell me a little bit what the path that they're on, but I think they should be laying at least 10 in this game.
And honestly, I think one of the big differences is Sam Hartman.
Oh, no question.
They got a quality quarterback who's a good leader, who's been around for a long, long time. I think he's the definite difference in this game. I think Notre Dame. I think wins this game by double figures.
Agreed. All right, moving along. Any thoughts on Ball State, Georgia? Does Georgia just roll? Maybe the over?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I like Ball State a little bit here.
Okay.
Just getting 50. What do you got it at? I had 53.5.
42.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
42.
Yeah, not
42, 43.
I had a 43.5. Yeah, total 53.5.
Yep.
I like Ball State just a tick in this game. Georgia obviously is going to win the game. I look for them to win the game by 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, but it's going to be close. But I would lean to Ball State.
Yeah, Ball State coming off a miserable defeat at the hands of Kentucky, which we'll talk about in bad beats coming up beginning of the next segment. We've got a lot to say about those, and Ball State was a victim of one of those. If you had Ball State, you were pissed off, and if you had actually that didn't affect the total in that game. All right, moving along. James Madison, how about this one? Laying points on the road at Virginia. The Dukes -6, the total 41. Virginia's program a disaster with the kids getting murdered last year, and just they're in shambles right now. And I guess if you're Virginia right now, this is probably a highly emotional home opener here where you are just probably happy that you're alive at this point. So I don't know. I guess you can't ever handicap the emotion of a person. So maybe Virginia plays well here. I'm going to pass on this game. What do you guys say? Any thoughts?
I'm going to lean to the under a little bit, but not.
That's what I got too.
Okay,
I got the under.
That would make sense to me as well.
It's crazy to think that they're laying 6 points on the road.
Yeah, James Madison's been an improving program, and now that they're in the FBS, they're not really a pushover. All right, Purdue at Virginia Tech. The Boilermakers on the road at Blacksburg. The Hokies -3. The total 49. I don't know. I don't know about this. I want to take Purdue really bad here. I really do, but I just don't know. Coach, you've been a little iffy on Purdue.
Yeah, I'm iffy on them. They lost 39-35 to Fresno. Virginia Tech beat Old Dominion, scored a bunch of points. I'm leaning to the over here.
Okay, I like that play too. Chris?
I got Virginia Tech laying the points at home.
Chris is on Tech. Yeah. All right, Chris, going out Beamer ball. All right, now this next game, Nebraska at Colorado. I heard a guy, I've actually heard 2 sportsbook guys now say that they expect this game to be the biggest handle in the history of college football in a regular season game.
Oh, wow.
And this is all the Deion Sanders effect. We've taken thousands and thousands of dollars more on Colorado future bets in the last couple of days where I work. It's the biggest liability across the country in every sports book. Anybody that I talk to or hear from says that Colorado is the one team they cannot have doing damage this year. So the public is all over them. That's usually a good sign for people like us who try to be a little bit smarter. But the Buffaloes at home now laying 3 in this game. The total 59 against the Cornhuskers, a rivalry game. Coach, the Buffaloes victimized you last week. What are your thoughts on this game?
I just hope Nebraska can hang in there. I'm going to play the game under the total. I think Nebraska will have a much more to say than TCU defensively against Colorado. I think Nebraska will stiffen up against Colorado. I don't think they're going to throw for rack up the yards like they did against TCU. I think it's going to be a a grind 'em out game. I think it'll be a low scoring game. Not low scoring, but I don't think 59.5. I'm going to play it under, and I lean a little Nebraska.
Okay, Chris?
Well, let's get one thing here that drives me nuts. And I know it's because of Dion and Coach Prime and all that and all the, hoopla surrounding him. But they act like he's the only guy that's ever turned a fucking program around. I mean, I know he's done well.
Yeah.
And I give him credit for that. I assume this game will be sold out at Colorado's. They got a new lease on life.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think they said, too, last year, like, you get your whole season ticket package to a Colorado was like $220, and I don't even know what tickets are going for just this game. But I'm going to I still like Colorado. I think they were pretty impressive. Not defensively, but I don't really know what Nebraska has. But I'm going to take Coach Prime until he proves everybody wrong.
Yeah, my thoughts are like, Colorado, to me, visually looks like they got real players.
Yeah.
Defensively, they need to get a little bit tighter. TCU's defense, so we got to remember what it was like in the national championship game, how many points they gave up. So their defense is nothing to write home about. I think it kind of falls somewhere in between where Colorado is very good. TCU's defense was not. I agree with Coach. Nebraska's defense should be much more stout. But I'm not sure if Nebraska falls behind early in this game, they're going to be in trouble. Because if they can't move the ball against Colorado, it's going to be trouble for them because they have to bank on the fact Colorado's defense might not be very good, and they're going to have to move. But I agree with Coach with the under controlling the clock. It's their only chance of staying in this game. This game looks like a sucker bet to me.
Yes.
But you may be able to say, my eyes tell me Colorado is really good. They got 5 stars. Nebraska doesn't have any of those. So I don't know. I would say my advice to people that are bet, I would not bet this game other than the total. I would stay away from the sides here. I really don't know what to expect here. Colorado might beat this team by 4 touchdowns, or Nebraska might win a close game. But I agree. I think Coach and the under is probably the way to go. But be careful because you don't want to get too high on somebody because I actually prefer if Colorado maybe wins this game and covers because I think next week when they play Oregon, Coach, I think it gives us a really good opportunity to get the Ducks at some value there. So
well, yeah, in that respect, yeah. But I think this game is going to prove a lot for Colorado if they come out and just pound and look like they did against TCU. People are going to say that they're for real. If Nebraska gives them a game, possibly upsets them, then we're back to how good is Colorado.
Yep. Prime got him ranked 22nd now, huh?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Another big game from the Pine Room. We'll have all eyes on this one. The Utah Utes visiting the Baylor Bears. Utah minus 7.5 on the road. Total 47.5. Baylor starting quarterback out for at least 3 weeks right now. The Bears get beat at home by Texas State in the game that they were not even in at all, really. Horrible performance. How do they bounce back? I wasn't overly impressed with Utah. I believe Cam Rising's supposed to play in this game or at least be available. I'm not sure if I'm Utah. I'm even wasting him right now. Baylor, this is it for Baylor. This is a back-to-the-wall must-win game, and I know they're not going to feel good about covering this 7.5. I think Baylor is worth a play at plus 7.5, but, man, I really have a hard time being too excited about that, Coach. What do you say?
I agree with that 100%. There are a couple stats about Utah. They're 4-8 against the spread on the road in their last 12 games. I think Baylor bounces back, but I'm not sure if Baylor's good.
Yeah, I know. It worries me.
They may not be good.
That effort they gave last week really, really concerned me for a home opener. I don't know. The only thing that I can maybe say is, were they overlooking Texas State ready for this game? Was that circled on? I mean, you can't do that as a program, a coach, especially when you're coming off a rough season. But that's the only thing I could say maybe.
And that's but even with that being said, you would think the difference in talent would still even be able to get you past them. And I get
Chris,
that.
I agree at one time, but now I don't know. Texas State had all these transfers. They had like 30 new guys. Yeah. We just can't account for that, and it's impossible as a handicapper unless you learn every fucking guy in Division I football.
Right.
You just don't know how these guys are going to mesh together. And, hats off to Texas State. They made it work with a bunch of new guys all of a sudden that no one really knew about. So, in old times, Chris, I totally agree. I think the talent alone should have been enough. But you see it in basketball all the time now, too. It's just these teams that are under the radar, no one knows about. This transfer portal now just affects it can stun these teams. They had Texas State on the calendar before the transfer portal was probably even a thing. And the NIL, they got them penciled in, and here we go. 4 or 5 years later, now this team's got all these transfers, and they have guys that are on the same caliber as ours. So, I'm leaning Baylor there. I'm hopeful that Baylor can pull it out, but I'm not super confident.
Right.
Moving on to the next game, Troy at Kansas State. Kansas State taking a ton of public money. That's why I mentioned this game at all. They're minus 16.5, the total 50.5. Any thoughts on this game, guys?
I absolutely love it the other way.
Okay.
I love Troy.
Well, that's probably a good side to be on.
Sun Belt champs, 11-3 against the spread. Last 14, 4-0 is road dogs.
Like it.
I'm telling you, Kansas State, they got a good running back, rushed for 248 yards last week. I think they give Kansas State all they want on the road. I really like it. It's one of my better plays of the weekend.
Well, that's good to hear because, like I said, K-State taking a lot of public action, which is usually a good thing for when you're on the other side. Chris, any thoughts on that game?
I'm expecting a lot of points in this game.
Okay.
Coach says Troy's going to give them a battle, so I'm going to go with that over the total, man.
One of my better plays.
Okay. Troy, a heavy
I'm going to
pick
put a
Coach.
big mark on that one, Mark.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Another team taking public money early this week. The Syracuse Orange hosting the Western Michigan Broncos. The Orange minus 23.5. The total 56.5. Syracuse looked all right last week, but I would say this is a tricky spot for them. Any thoughts on this game, guys?
I like Syracuse at home. I don't think Western Michigan's very good. Beat St. Francis 35-17. They're picked next to last in the western side of the MAC. Right. Syracuse at home. Obviously 65-0 over Colgate. That doesn't say much, but I think Syracuse takes care of business.
Yeah, I like this game over a tad. I think Syracuse conducive to playing overs in the Carrier Dome. So I think there could be some points, but I agree. I would lean towards Syracuse if you can get better than that 23.5 or better. I would say. You probably don't want it going up too much higher than that. Any thoughts on Miami UMass?
I lean a tick toward UMass, but I'm probably stay away from it.
UMass catching 7 at home, total 44 in that one. Moving along, UNLV, the Rebels on the road at Michigan. Sharp money showing on the Wolverines. They probably weren't at their best last week. Yeah. They lay 36 in this contest against UNLV in the total 57.5. I like this game over quite a bit. And what do you guys think?
It's not enough points. Michigan Michigan is going to hand it to UNLV.
Yeah. Wasn't that about the same spread they had last week against East Carolina, wasn't it?
Yeah, similar.
Yeah, you got that.
I agree with you.
Yeah, you got that little crickle there. Joe's got to get us a new microphone right here.
But yeah, thank you. No, I think Michigan will cover that spread.
UNLV gave up 409 yards to Bryant College last year. Now they're giving 409 to them.
Yeah,
what's Michigan going to do?
UNLV, one of probably the worst programs in college football. They're really terrible. The people in Nevada just bitch about how awful they are and their coach is. So
I think Michigan puts 60 on the board.
Could be really ugly.
Really ugly.
And I'll take that, too, because it's 57.5, and we'll get it over. So, all right, next game, a little bit of an interest for me. Texas A&M visiting Miami. Texas A&M minus 4.5 on the road to total 51. Obviously, I'm wearing a Miami shirt, so you probably won't listen to anything that I say. But normally, I'll be pretty honest about this team. I think they got a chance to win this game. I'm not saying they're going to. But Miami's defense is very stout. The under may be in play here. Texas A&M, they just don't impress me in any way, shape, or form. What do you guys say?
I'm leaning A&M a little bit here.
Okay.
They've won 17-9 last year over your Canes. Miami was 0-2 as a home dog last year against the spread. I'm leaning A&M a tick.
Chris?
No, I'm going with Miami getting the points. I don't like A&M. I don't like their coach. Never have. And that's just a personal thing. But I want to see you guys make a resurgence, and I hope you guys can.
It's going to be a while. But,
they got to start sometime.
The first game was positive. The defense played exceptionally well, and they definitely have a good quarterback. And
that's a great time too. 3:30 on Saturday.
Yeah,
perfect.
We'll see. Hopefully the Canes can hang in. All right, the next game, the Gambling Bowl. The state of Iowa's got to have eyes all over this as the Hawkeyes visit the Cyclones. Hawkeyes -4, total 36.5. I really don't have a play here. I would stay away from this game. I just don't trust. There's guys suspended on both sides of this. I don't know what to expect here. Coach, thoughts?
Iowa scored 24 last week, but that's only because they scored their first touchdown in the first 48 seconds because they had a long play down to like the 8-yard line.
Yeah, and after that,
but well, then they scored again quick. It was 14-0.
Yeah,
and then they just flailed around
cold.
like as usual.
Yep.
You can't play this game anywhere but under.
No,
you have to play
you're
under.
insane if you bet these. If you bet Iowa game's over, you're nuts.
You're gonna be miserable because you're gonna watch them play between the 30s. All freaking day.
Yep.
It's a punt.
Well, that was similar to the game last week between Nebraska and Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a horrible game.
13-10.
Yeah,
just a horrible.
Well, I
game.
just go opposite of you guys just for shits and giggles.
Why, you're playing it over?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Good luck. Yeah.
20-17.
Yeah, good luck. All right, moving along. This is actually an interesting game now after last week. UTSA hosting Texas State. UTSA minus 12.5. Total 65.5. UTSA, one of the worst games they've played in about 3 years. And Texas State played probably their best game in program history. That would tend to make me lean towards UTSA bouncing back here, Coach. But what do you think?
I like UTSA.
Yep.
I do. That their quarterback. They got a very good quarterback. He uncharacteristically bad game.
Right.
Last week lost 17-10 to Chris's boy. So I Texas State is 0-4 0-4 against UTSA.
Yep.
And so I look for UTSA to bounce back and take care of them because Texas State celebrating that big win.
Yeah, they're shit. The girls are telling them how great they are. They're smelling themselves, walking around campus with hard dicks. I think it could be a trouble spot for Texas State. So yeah, I'll be leaning actually playing UTSA there. Chris, what do you think about that game?
I'll take the same with that.
Okay.
I agree. I think Texas State. I mean, that was a great win, but they're they're what is it? Smelling yourself?
Yeah. I don't hope they smell good.
Yeah.
So. All right, next game. This game intrigues me a little bit. Ole Miss at Tulane. The Rebels minus 7.5 on the road. A total 65. Tulane with a nice win last week. A lot of people picked against them against South Alabama, and then you got Ole Miss, who is expected to be pretty offensively gifted again in the SEC. I lean the Rebels here. I'm really a big fan of Tulane, but I think this game is a little bit of a trouble spot for them. Coach, what do you say?
Got a great quarterback, Michael Pratt.
Yep.
Outstanding quarterback. They say this might be one of the biggest games in Tulane's history.
Oh, yeah.
Going to be an incredible atmosphere. Ole Miss is really good. I think Ole Miss is going to make some noise in the SEC.
Yep.
Scored 73 last week, but I'm with you. I lean Ole Miss a little bit here.
And I kind of lean towards the over, too. I think there'll be some points in this game.
Yeah.
Tulane showed they could score. They beat up on USC last year in the bowl game. Ole Miss has not been known to have a great defense either, so I think over could be a play. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Well, hopefully Tulane can get a huge early season win over the Rebels. And I need the Rebels to lose anyway, don't I, for that?
I believe so.
With Coach, so I'm going to take the Green Wave getting 7.5.
Okay, next game on the card, game 353, 354, UTEP at Northwestern. What an exciting one.
If you need a nap.
Yeah, well.
Is this our first nap game?
There was one other one.
Iowa.
No, I guess not. Yeah, Iowa State. Yeah. But this game, 38.5 to total. UTEP laying 1.5 on the road. I actually like this game over for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I think UTEP might score some points here. I don't love it. Sharp money actually showing up on Northwestern, if you can believe that or not. The Wildcats really looked very feeble in their first contest of the
Potentially
year.
the worst game of the day.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah, I don't. Northwestern is just an absolute mess. So I'm going to take the Miners giving a point now.
We got Soup on the phone here.
Perfect timing. Soup. Your East Carolina Pirates host Marshall this weekend. The Herd minus 3 on the road, total 44. What are you thinking about your Pirates' chances against the Herd?
I just think East Carolina has to, I was honestly impressed with the defense against Michigan. They just couldn't move the football at all. So if they can just get some points on the board, I mean, at least they stand a chance.
Yeah, I agree. Are you going to be at the game?
No, I'm not going to be at the game. I'm going to be at the Pine Room celebrating the Steelers going 1-0 this weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Oh, that's right. On their way to 14-3, right?
14-3. I'll talk to you fellas later. Let's go Steelers.
Later.
See, Soup. All right. Any thoughts on Marshall and East Carolina other than what Soup said?
No, I'm all ears with Soup.
Okay. Yeah, I like East Carolina a little bit in that. I think they play very well at home, so it'll be a good crowd, and that's a tough environment. Anything on Kent State and Arkansas? I lean over in that game.
Pass on that game.
Okay.
Well, they're also, you mentioned UNLV being one of the worst. Kent State's just god awful too. So
they were bad last week. They're actually, I was picturing them to be even worse, but yeah, they're horrible.
Well,
absolutely horrible.
I think that Razorbacks get them really good.
I think Razorbacks and over is probably a pretty good play there. Anything on Tulsa, Washington? I'm a big Husky backer this year.
I am too, but I'm going to lean Tulsa getting to 34.5.
Yep.
Is that what you got it at?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm lean Tulsa, but I'm with you.
I agree.
I really like Washington, but I'm lean Tulsa getting the points.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to lay those kinds of spreads. And maybe take a shot in play if Washington starts out a little. They started out slow last week. Maybe they start out slow. You get it down in the 20s, and then maybe you take a shot with it. I would recommend that. But they're very good, and they're going to be very tough at home all season long. App State at North Carolina. North Carolina starting to become a public darling after late last year. They're good finish to the season. They got a very good quarterback in Drake May. They're laying 18 at home here against the Appalachian State Mountaineers, total 58. As I said, the public all over UNC. Are you a believer in UNC, Coach, after their win against Carolina?
Do you remember this game last year?
Oh, yeah.
Nick and I had it under.
Yes.
Or no, I had it under.
Yes, I do.
Both teams scored in the 60s.
It's an absurd game.
Yeah, both teams scored in the 60s. There were 124 points.
Did it end up going to overtime? Was it an OT?
I believe so.
I think it was an OT. I think they were down to those 2-point conversions.
Yeah, both teams scored in the 60s.
They could not stop each other.
And I like it again over the total.
Okay.
I'm playing over the total
I would
again.
say that's a pretty good play. Chris, any thoughts?
I think it will be a pretty competitive game, and I'm not so sure about that total, but I'm going to take App State getting those points.
Okay. All right, moving on. 6 o'clock kickoff. It's the SMU Mustangs at the Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma minus 15.5. The total 68.5. I tell you, Oklahoma looked okay last week. Maybe they're starting to trend back upward as they get ready to lead the Big 12. What are your guys' thoughts on the Sooners and in this game?
I'm leaning Oklahoma here. I put up 73, as you said, last week. Dylan Gabriel looked really good. Their quarterback, I think he's very good. I think they're going to be.
Their defense seems improved.
Yeah, I think they're going to be better than they were. I like Oklahoma at home, giving the 16.5.
Chris, any thoughts?
Ditto with Coach.
Yep.
I don't think they'll have any issues.
Yep.
With
Mark McLaughlin's
SMU.
team rolls in that game, easy. Anything on New Mexico State Liberty? That's a really bad game.
New Mexico State. I think Liberty's pretty good.
Okay.
New Mexico State lost 41-30 to UMass in week 0, and then come back and beat Western Illinois last week 58-21. I'm gonna lean Liberty. I'm gonna lean Liberty a little bit, given the 10.5 at home. Okay.
Next game, Ohio Bobcats on the road at the Florida Atlantic Owls. The Owls highly touted a little bit this year, strangely enough. Their basketball team was as well. -5 for the Owls at home. The total 61.5. Any observations on this contest?
I don't.
I don't either. Chris? No. I thought you'd be traveling down in OU country once in a while. You might have some scoop on the Bobcats.
No.
Okay. All right, let's try this one then. UAB, the Blazers on the road at the Georgia Southern Eagles. Any observations or thoughts on this game?
Georgia Southern was 125th in the country in defense last year, right?
Is that Clay Helton's team?
Yes,
coach?
Yeah, and I think I think
good on offense.
I think there's going to be some points scored in this game.
I would agree with that.
I'd play this game over.
He's finally got some of the they ran one of those weird offenses, and he's now made the adjustment. So I think they're offensively they're pretty good. So I agree with that pick.
Yeah.
Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. Actually, they're called Louisiana now, but everybody lists them as Louisiana Lafayette. They go to Old Dominion. The Raging Cajuns -6 on the road against ODU, and the total 51.5. I would lean Louisiana here. I think they're a pretty solid program. I kind of like them. Any thoughts, Coach?
Yeah, same way. I'm going to lean Louisiana.
Okay, Chris?
No.
Nothing on the Raging Cajuns. No. All right, now a game that I know Chris is going to have an opinion on. His guy, Pat Narduzzi, at home. The Pitt Panthers hosting the Cincinnati Bearcats. Pitt -7.5, the total 47. I've heard a lot of people talking about the total in this game, that they think this is a good over game. I don't know. I really don't know what to make of Pitt or Cincinnati, as Pitt is dealing with some departures, and Cincinnati lost their coach. So I don't know what to make here. Coach, any thoughts on this game?
I really like Cincinnati here.
Okay.
I think Cincinnati not only covers, possibly pulls a straight up win.
I can see that. I have no faith in Pitt. Chris, what are your thoughts?
No, we're riding high after that big win against Wofford. Home field advantage
really?
at Acrisure. So
You going up?
No, I'm not. I got to rest up for golf on
right.
Sunday.
Oh.
But so they're going to beat them 27-10.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Moving.
I know.
Okay. Go Panthers. And Buckeye local Panthers,
Yeah.
I mean. All right. On to the next one. North Texas, the Mean Green on the road at the FIU Panthers. North Texas minus 12.5. The total 52. Some public money showing on Florida International. I really don't know how that could possibly be, but somebody's out there betting it. I don't know. Mean Green, Coach, you had them last week. They couldn't stop anybody.
I know.
Cal Bears just
absolutely
destroyed
let me
them.
down. They come back. They come back, score, then Cal would score and score again, and Nick was up my ass about North Texas, and they let me down. So I'm rolling Florida International.
Okay. Chris, anything on that game?
No, I'm going to go with the International Panthers.
Okay, the International Panthers. I like that. Jacksonville State on the road at Coastal Carolina. Coach, your Chanticleers laying 13, total 58. Anything in this game?
I don't have
either.
anything in that game at all.
There's not a whole lot of games I really like this week, strangely enough. All right, moving on. UConn at Georgia State. The Huskies, 3-point dog here against Georgia State, total 54.5. I think UConn wins this game. I think UConn should be favored in this game. And I will tell you this. They hung around. They covered in the first week. They're dangerous. They're an all right team. They're well coached, and I think the Huskies will probably upset a couple teams this year. And I think this will be one of them right out of the chute. So, what are you guys saying about the Huskies and the Panthers?
I'm leaning UConn also. A tick.
Okay.
I got the under.
Chris on the under. Okay. Moving along, Memphis at the Arkansas State Red Wolves. Memphis minus 21.5, total 58.5. I have no opinion on this.
Not me either.
Okay, Chris?
Nothing there.
No.
Okay. Didn't know if you had any Red Wolves insight out there. Because I think there used to be a thing called Red Wolf Snuff. So I thought maybe somebody would give you a tip on the Red Wolves. All right, UCF coaches Knights on the road at Boise State. This is an interesting game, a pretty good game actually. UCF minus 3.5, total 57.5. Boise coming off a game against Washington where they just got blasted in the second half, but they played a good first half. And then UCF looked arguably the most impressive team that I watched last week, Coach. But they were playing Kent State.
Yeah.
So what do you think here?
I'm playing UCF. I still believe in them. I think they're going to be a handful in the Big 12. I think they're really going to make some noise, and I think they go into Boise and take care of business. I like them.
I agree, Chris.
I'm just totally opposite of Coach. I think that's a tall task for them to go all the way out there to Boise and playing a night game
on
at
a
Boise.
blue field.
Yep. So I'm going to take Boise.
Okay. Let's go on to the game of the weekend. The Texas Longhorns visiting the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Tide minus 7. You can find some 7.5s out there if you're looking for Texas. I urge you to hunt for that hook because it might be that. You might need that. Coach has a good opinion on this game. He's had it for a few weeks. The total 54.5. I lean to the under in this game. I think it's going to be a pretty, nip and tuck type. Kind of have a little bit of a, I don't want to say a playoff atmosphere because those games have been high scoring in recent years. But I think early season, I think both teams will be careful and really want to win this game. Coach, where are you leaning here?
Yeah, I'm leaning more to the under. I really like Texas earlier. I already bet them.
They weren't great last week, though. Does that worry you a little bit?
Yeah, and I'm not as sold on it, but I do like the under and under Sarkisian. Yep. They're 3-0 to the under as a road dog.
Okay.
15-11 to the under Sarkisian overall. Okay. So I'm leaning under here.
Okay.
I'm with you. I'm leaning under, and I don't think Alabama's offense is in full gear yet. I know they put up big numbers last week, but I think it's going to be a really, really big test for them. Hell of a game.
Yeah, with athletes on both sides of the ball for both of these teams, I expect the Crimson Tide to control the ball a little bit more, run the ball a lot more, and then the clock eats up here. So
playing the under.
Under definitely for me and Coach. Chris, what are your thoughts on the Horns and the Tide?
You know what? I don't say this off, but this is a matchup that I'm really looking forward to. The two legendary programs, 7 o'clock, ESPN. I expect a very close game, but I think it's There's going to be a lot of points in this game.
Ooh.
So
You're
I'm
over.
going to take over.
Okay. All right. Going
You
against
guys both have unders?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's all right. Moving along, Middle Tennessee State at Missouri. Any thoughts on this game? Missouri laying 20.5, 48 the total.
Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Yeah, I don't. No, I'm passing.
Okay, and next game. Dana Holgerson and the Houston Cougars visiting the Rice Owls. Houston -10, the total 52.5. I like Rice in this game.
I do too.
What do you guys say?
I do too. They
Okay.
played Texas. They covered the
Yes.
spread against Texas, which I really liked. That was one of my good plays last week, and I like him again this week. I like him catching 9.5.
Yep, and I think Holgerson, he's just the kind of coach
Yep.
that's going to start smelling himself after that win last week
I
and
agree.
think he's better than he is. Chris, what do you say about your buddy Dana?
Well, I think they're going to win, and they're going to cover, and hopefully Houston will get right on 33 because that's what I got in the college football.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good,
it means
Chris.
a lot.
Maybe they'll lose 43 or 44
33.
33. So, yeah. All right, going along, it's a good battle here as the Pac-12 visits the Big 12. The Oregon Ducks on the road at Jack Basinger's Texas Tech Red Raiders. Oregon -6.5. The total 67. This is an interesting game. Texas Tech let a lot of people down last week. People were very high on them. Oregon doesn't always travel very well. Coach, you've been pretty complimentary of Bo Nix since he moved to Oregon. What do you think about this game? It should be a good one.
I think there's going to be up and down the field. I'm playing this game over the total. 7 o'clock kick. Chris, you're right. That's some good games here at 7.
Yeah, that's
there's
another
some
good
really
matchup.
Let's just
good-
hope we're all coherent.
Hey, I like the Houston.
Yeah.
I like the Houston Rice game at 7.
Yep.
I like the Oregon Texas Tech. You got Alabama. That's a
Yeah, and there's a couple other ones we haven't got to yet
that's
that
a
are
nice.
pretty good.
That's a nice night.
Chris, Ducks, Raiders, what are you thinking?
The Ducks are going to give the points.
Okay.
Ducks
You
on the
wanna
road.
lay it. Okay, that's tricky. Man, I like what Coach said. I like the over, but I would I lean Texas Tech if I'm picking a side there. If I can get the 7, I'm on Tech.
I agree.
UCLA at San Diego State. The Bruins -14.5, total 48.5. Chip Kelly's team not all that impressive last week. San Diego State's tricky. I would tend to lead to the over in this game, but what are your thoughts on it, Coach?
I'm going to take the points at home. I'm not a UCLA fan this year.
No, I'm not either. And
Yeah.
I the same way. I'll take 14.5
Yep.
from San
All
Diego
right.
State.
Moving on to another pretty good game. Wisconsin Badgers make the long trip to Pullman. The Badgers -6.5 on the road at Washington State. The total 58.5. I like Washington State here. I think they're gonna be fired up for this game. I think it's sneaky, and if I'm hoping that maybe I can get 7. Not sure I will, but I'll be taking the Cougs. What do you say, Coach?
Yeah, they upset Wisconsin last year at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's 1-3 in their last 4 road games against Pac-12 teams. So they're traveling out there. I'm taking Washington State getting the points.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, Washington State's kind of like my dark horse in the Pac-12. So in order for them, they're going to need this win. And playing at night at home,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the points. I'm sorry.
That'll be a nasty atmosphere out there.
That'll be a fun game.
Those people are crazy. All right, moving along, the Arizona Wildcats at Chris's of Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Bulldogs -9, the total 60. Chris, let me just say this for your Mississippi State win total bet. If they can't win this game at home, it's all over for you. So
yes,
I'll go to you
Arizona's
first.
a mess.
I think Mississippi State rolls in this game.
That was one of the teams that we were definitely down on in the Pac-12. So yeah, we're gonna roll. We're gonna roll big time.
Okay, Coach, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to have to wear my Mississippi State shirt because I'm going to go with you guys.
Okay. Roll Bulldogs. All right. Temple, the Owls on the road at Rutgers. The Scarlet Knights -9, the total 44. I like Temple in this game. I thought Rutgers was solid, but I think the Owls are a little sneaky here, and if I can get 10, I'm hopeful this goes up to 10. Rutgers played pretty well last week. People will be on them. And I'll be taking the Owls, hopefully plus the 10 points. Coach, where do you fall
I'm playing
here?
this game under the total.
That's probably a really good
I
bet.
like it under.
I just circled the under.
Yeah.
Right before you said
You can't go wrong with Rutgers and under this
No,
year. I think that's
no.
going to be a strong one. Jubb gave Rutgers out as his win total of the year, and they are 1-0 already. So a good start for Jubb if he can get a win here.
Don't sleep on John.
I know.
He
When he
plays
gives them
like-
out, and he doesn't give them out often,
you know,
but when he gives them out, they're usually pretty live.
He
So.
knows. He
Yeah.
knows.
All right, Charlotte, the 49ers on the road to the Maryland Terrapins. Terps -24.5, the total 51.5. I like this game over the total. Coach, what say you?
I'm staying with you. I'm
Okay.
going over.
Chris?
Yeah, it's going to go over, but Maryland is going to whip their ass.
Yeah,
So,
I would depend on Maryland to score at least in the 40s, the high 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right, Eastern Michigan at Minnesota. PJ Fleck minus 20.5 at home. The Eastern Michigan Eagles catching 20.5, that is, and the game total is 48.5. I was unimpressed with Minnesota. I don't know what to make of it. Maybe Nebraska's okay. I don't know. I'm passing on this game.
I'm playing Eastern Michigan here.
Okay. I would go that way if I had to make a play. Chris?
Yeah, I'll go with Eastern Michigan as well. I'm not sold on Minnesota. Boring.
Yeah,
low
PJ
scoring.
Fleck, we're very boring. Air Force on the road at Sam Houston State is our next game. Air Force minus 14, total 37.5. Usually when these totals are low, they're low for a reason. I will be going under in this game, the 37.5.
Jesus.
I don't know how that can be. It's like an NFL total, but I'm going to lean the under. Any thoughts on this game, guys?
No, I do not.
Okay. Moving along, Southern Miss, the Golden Eagles at the Florida State Seminoles. Seminoles looked incredible last week, especially in the second half. They're laying 31 at home here at Doak Campbell Stadium, the total 53. This is like a spot where I would not play Florida State minus 31. Florida State rolls in this game. They name a score. But I may just take a little shot with Southern Miss. Maybe they just backdoor them.
I'm with you.
But, talent-wise, Florida State's as good as anybody I've seen so far.
Southern Miss.
All right, moving along. Oklahoma State at Arizona State. The Cowboys minus 3, total 52.5. This is a tricky game here. Gundy traveling down to Tempe. I think that I like Oklahoma State here, but I don't love them. Coach, what are you thinking about this game?
I like this game over the total a little bit, but not just a lean, nothing major.
Okay. Chris?
Nah, I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Okay. It says Cowboys.
Yeah.
Probably lean that way myself. All right, Stanford at USC. Stanford are just horrendous. USC minus 29, total 69.5. I guess Stanford does have a win, so I can't say they're that bad. But, USC probably just names the score here. But I think Stanford will score some points. I don't like USC's defense at all. Guys, any thoughts on this game?
Well, one thing I know for sure, I'll be asleep probably by the time this thing kicks off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not asleep, but wrapping things up. So I'm going to play the game over and go to bed.
Okay. That sounds like a winner to me.
Yeah,
that's a winner if I've ever heard one.
I mean, USC, their opponents sucked the first two games, but they scored, 56 and 66. So
yeah.
I think, though, like you said, name the score, but they will cover that 29. So I'm going to take USC.
All right. 10:30 kick. Auburn visiting California. This is an interesting game. Auburn minus 6.5, the total 55. I actually would stay up and watch this game if I was able to, but probably ain't going to happen.
Ain't going to happen.
I think... I think maybe Cal's okay. I thought maybe they were, but they played North Texas and beat them around last week. I think maybe over could be the play here, but I would not talk anybody off of playing the Golden Bears at home here, Coach. What do you think?
I'm going the other way. I'm going to play Auburn. I'm not an Auburn backer, but I think this is a spot here that Cal should easily cover after last week. But I'm going to play.
That makes sense.
The War Eagles coming in to Cal and take care of business.
Okay, Chris, any
thoughts?
I
might echo those sentiments, Coach, but I'm gonna play that game under.
Ooh,
55.
Under.
Okay, under. And then the get out game, the Albany Great Danes, Hawaii Rainbows. We'll be at the Pine Room watching this one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hawaii minus 8.5, total 55.5. Chris, what about your Great Danes?
Well,
yeah.
Well, good for them. They get to go out and see, visit Hawaii, but I don't think they.
That's a long ass fucking trip.
Yes, it really is.
Albany to Hawaii.
Yeah, so I'll take the Rainbows given the points.
All right, and that concludes college football week 2 with your winners here on Bettor's Last Stand. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. And it's time to get in the NFL card where Chris makes his money. It's Bettor's Last Stand. Matt, Coach Chris here with you. We'll be right back.
Reminder, Bettor's Last Stand is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. You're watching Bettor's Last Stand.
All right, welcome back in. Bettor's Last Stand here. Show number 52, live from downtown Wheeling. Actually, not live. A couple days tape delayed. All right, let's not waste any time. These guys got to get to a bocce match, so we'll go right into the NFL card, and then I'll sum up a couple other things that are going on in the sports betting world after that. All right, the game Thursday, we don't have any time to talk about it because it played last night, but guys, real quick, Chiefs or Lions, Travis Kelce now Probably not going to play with a hyperextended knee.
I just saw he's questionable now.
Yeah, he's got a chance to play, but I'm not sure he will. Any leans in that game? I would lean the Chiefs maybe now since the numbers dropped about 2 points.
I love the over in that game. I don't see how there's not going to be points in that game.
Right?
No, I got a 37-30. I think KC's going to win, but I think it's going to be a shootout.
I think the over is the bet.
Yeah, I would agree.
If you bet under, you're going to sit there and just bite your fingernails all night because it's just. I
don't think either team's really known for stout defense.
Well, I mean, the Chiefs' best defensive players aren't even playing.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Yep. I think over's the play as well, and I'd lean the Chiefs if you get that number before they say if Kelsey's playing or not. If he's not playing, you might want to wait because I think you can still get some good value there. All right, Arizona at the Washington Commanders. Commanders -7, total 38. Coach, where are you going in this ball game?
Under the total. That's my play.
Okay. Chris?
I have the game over. I have it at 31-13. I think the Cardinals just they stand no chance in this game.
Yeah.
And not that the Commanders are great, well, the Redskins, I should say, but
right.
They just, with the hell, I think they're either going to play Colt McCoy or what's that other guy's name?
Dobbs. They named Dobbs as starter.
Dobbs, okay.
Yeah, they cut McCoy. He's already cut.
Oh, they cut him.
Yeah,
okay.
cut his sorry ass.
All right,
yeah.
my bad. So, no, I got the game. I got Redskins and over.
All right, I would lean the Redskins, but I'll also lean to the under, like Coach said. I think the Cardinals might not score more than 3 in that game. All right, Carolina at Atlanta. This is an interesting game. Division battle, Week 1. Falcons -3.5, total 39.5. We talked about it before. A lot of people high on the Falcons, including you two guys. So where are you going in this game?
I'm playing the Falcons.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah, I got the Falcons. It'd be interesting with both quarterbacks in this game, with Bryce Young starting and then that Ritter. So I think it's going to stay under, though.
I love the under in this game. That's my top play in the game, and I am leaning the Panthers. If I get 3 in the hook, I'm taking it. These division games tend to fall around 3 points, so I will take the 3. I think the Falcons maybe win by 3, and the game stays under. Moving on, Houston at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens -10, the total 43.5. This 10 is way too high. Ravens have a lot of kinks to work out. I think over is the play in this game. I think there will be some points scored. Ravens offense will be taking shots down the field. But I think Houston is going to battle people this year, and I would not be wanting to lay 10 points with anybody against them. Coach, what do you think?
I'm playing Baltimore in this game.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I am too. I just think the Ravens, they got a pretty goddamn good defense, and that C.J. Stroud making his debut at the Ravens, I don't foresee them scoring many points at all, so I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Okay. All right. One of the big showdowns at 1 o'clock. Cincinnati visiting Cleveland. Cincinnati -2.5, the total 48. Bengals on the road as a favorite. I like the Browns here. I know Chris likes the Browns. Coach, where do you come down on this ball game?
Unfortunately, guys, I'm the other way.
Okay.
I'm going to play the Bengals in this game.
Chris?
Now, Burrow's definitely playing, right?
From what I saw,
okay,
yeah.
I
like the under a little, too.
What is that? Yeah, I have it. I got the Browns. I have the Browns winning by a touchdown.
Well, if you and I are both picking them, they got no fucking chance. So just chalk it up right now.
And again, though, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Is Burrow rusty from missing training camp, and what's Watson going to be like?
Yeah,
we don't.
I mean, he could either the ceiling could be.
But I think Browns' defense has definitely improved. So I'm gonna take the Browns in this.
And I like under. Burrow's not played well in his first game. I know I'm not a Burrow guy. I'm not trying to say that I'm being biased here, but his early season play has not been good. So I think maybe if you have a chance of jumping on the under here, maybe it's a low scoring game. All right, Jacksonville at Indianapolis, another division battle. Jags -5, total 45. Colts just had a mess of an offseason. I don't trust this team at all. This is a game to me. It just everything just yells at you. Play Jacksonville, but it's a road game in the division. I got to pass on it, but I would lean Jacksonville. Coach, where do you?
They always say if it's a point spread's 5, take the dog.
Yeah,
a 5-point spread, take the dog. So for some weird reason, I'm going to play the Colts.
Makes sense.
Good luck with that. The Jaguars will beat the shit out of this team. This team's awful.
Okay,
and I like Jacksonville. They're like obviously the class of that division. Plus, what's his name? Calvin Ridley too. With he's a new weapon.
Yeah, I mean they have all the tools. I mean, it's whether or not you believe in that.
Looks like an easy play to me too.
And Florio said they're the most underrated team in the league. So we'll see.
I have them 37-6.
Oh,
wow!
Bet your exact score. Good. Good call.
Oh yeah.
All right, Tampa at Minnesota. Former division battle. Minnesota -6. The total 45.5. I know, Coach, you're not very high on the Vikings. What do you think of them laying 6 at home here?
Well, I got Alexander Madison on my
fantasy so that changes
team.
things.
That's but
they got to give it to him.
I still don't think they're very good. And Tampa, I don't think they're good at all. But
right, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I'm playing Tampa though, getting the 6 points at on the road.
Okay, Chris, where do you come down on this game?
If the Vikings are going to win a game, I don't know. I think that game's going to go over.
Ooh, I like it.
Okay.
And I'm passing on that game. I just can't play Minnesota -6. I just can't.
I know.
I want to, and if they're at home, and they absolutely should crush this team, but they won't. They'll fuck around and probably get beat. All right, Tennessee at New Orleans. The Titans catching 3 on the road at the Saints. The total 41. Saints, another team like the Falcons, taking a lot of public interest. I really like Tennessee in this game.
Okay.
I am not a Tennessee backer by any means, but I do like Mike Vrabel. I like their running game, and I don't really love the coach of what's his name, Dennis Allen. I do not like that guy at all. I'm going to lean Tennessee, and hopefully I can get 3.5 in that game. Coach, what do you think?
I'm playing Tennessee too. I like Tennessee in this game.
All right. Chris?
No, I'm taking the Saints. I think if New Orleans got a good defense, and if they can, keep Derrick Henry in check, and then force Tannehill to make plays, because I don't trust him. So I'm going with the Saints, giving 3.
Okay. Moving on, the big game around these parts, San Francisco. The 49ers on the road. Nick Bosa just signed, and they are at the Steelers. 49ers -2.5. The total 41. Man, everything to me says San Francisco should win the game, but I know better, and so does Chris, and I think Steelers are dangerous here. I'll probably pass on this game. Coach, what do you think?
My play of the day, the under in the game.
Okay.
Under the total. San Francisco's best defense in the NFL. Steelers, great defense. I think both teams will try to establish a running game. I like the game under a lot.
That's a good one.
I see like 17-13 final.
Okay. I can see that too, Chris.
Well, you can see right there, Matt, Steelers are my lock of the week.
Oh.
So I think they're going to win this game. They've won their last 2 openers as underdogs.
Oh, okay.
And playing at home. And I'm just not and not that I'm not a fan. I'm not sold on this Purdy guy playing, in Pittsburgh and the raucous crowd. And they've had some pieces on defense, and so to add to an already pretty damn good defense. So I think the Steelers are going to win in a close game.
Yeah, 49ers have not been good in early season games either, as I mentioned about the Bengals. 49ers lost to the Bears last year in Week 1. All right, Green Bay at Chicago, big division battle. I can never figure out this game at all. I think both these teams really suck. The Bears -1, the total 43.5, but I have mixed thoughts. Mike Florio said the Packers would win that division. He said Justin Fields is a great fantasy player, which I agree with, so I had to take him in fantasy. I can't believe it, but I didn't have a choice, and I don't know. I have no way of picking this game. I just don't know.
I'm playing the Bears at home for champ.
Bears. What about under?
I do like it under.
When I was looking at this, I did the same. And wasn't even thinking about champ, but I looked at it, and it is a tough game to even predict with the 2 quarterbacks. But I do have the Bears at home. I have them winning 20-17, so that is Bears and under.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
All right. Raiders at Broncos. Another big division rivalry here as Vegas visits Denver. Denver -3.5, total 44. The public's all over Denver. They think Sean Payton's a savior. I'd be a little leery of that. Lean the Raiders here, but I do not like Josh McDaniels. I think he, right now, to me, is the guy that may be fired first this season. I think he sucks.
That's so funny you said that, because I just, on my notes here, I was like, he's not a winning head coach.
No,
he's a good
clown.
coordinator. So, and
he'll be back with the Patriots next year.
And I'm not a Peyton fan, but he's definitely a major upgrade from last year.
No, he is. He is.
And I think he'll work with Wilson to get him back on track. So I have what is the line? I have Denver winning 26-17. So take the Broncos, giving 3.5.
Coach,
I like that. If I can get to 3.5, I'm playing the Raiders. This is going to be a 3-point game.
Agreed. I'll be on the Raiders as well.
3-point game.
All right, moving on. It is the Miami Dolphins. This is a good game. 4:25 kick. Miami Dolphins going out west to visit the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers -3, total 51. I just don't see how in the world this game isn't a shootout. I know the total's high, but man, 51. I think these teams go up and down the field on each other. Although I will say, the Fangio factor, maybe the Dolphins' defense is improved. and maybe they're just a little bit better coached than the Chargers, which is a serious worry. Coach, where are you going here?
Over the total.
Okay. So
yes.
Going over as well. Chris?
Same way, Matt. I think
All
it's
right.
going to be a shootout. Probably the team that has the ball last will win.
I think it'll be a good game. Absolutely. Philadelphia visiting the New England Patriots. The Eagles -4 on the road. The total 45. Now, this seems too easy. The Eagles probably go up.
I
New
agree.
England has had nothing but bad things
I
coming
agree.
out of their camp. And then, but you're going against Belichick, and I don't know. I'm going to lean New England in the game.
Me too.
It looks too easy to play Philadelphia.
I agree 100%.
Chris?
I got Philadelphia. I just don't think New England has much offensively. I'm not sold on Mac Jones. Although you
make good points.
Jalen Hurts has never had to face a Belichick defense, which he's had obviously so much time to get ready for Philly. But I just think they got too much. I think Hurts, that offense, and even the improvements they made on defense. I'm going to take
Most of which might have been getting rid of their defensive coordinator.
Yeah. So I got the Eagles in this.
Okay. All right. The Rams at the Seahawks. 425 kick division battle. Seahawks -5. Total 46.5. I like the under here, but I also like the Rams. I'm high on the Rams. I'm not super high, like they're going to be a playoff team, but I think they are going to be better than people think. So I'll be going. This is one of my stronger plays here. I like the Rams, and I like the under in this game. Coach, what say you?
Okay, and I said if it's a 5-point spread, take the dog.
So you'll be on the Rams as well.
I'm on the Rams.
Chris?
I'm going to go with the under, but
Okay.
I believe Seattle's going to win this game, building on what they did last year with the surprising efforts and performance of Geno. I don't know if he can do that again, but I think
He's got a lot of good weapons.
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
We'll see. I think that should be a pretty decent game. Maybe a little boring, but hopefully it's boring because this under was what we need.
Yeah.
All right, and then the nightcap. It's like this every single year. Dallas and the Giants.
Yeah.
Dallas on the road at the New York Giants. Dallas -3.5. Total 46.5. I can't bet Mike McCarthy's giving points on the road to anybody.
I agree.
I will take the Giants and expect if Dallas wins this game, it will be by a field goal or less. What do you say, Chris?
Me.
I have. I think this is going to be a hell of a game, just a knockdown, drag out, and I think Dallas's defense will make the difference in this game.
Micah
Daniel
Parsons.
Jones, yeah.
he's
No,
good.
yeah. I tend to agree with you as far as Mike McCarthy goes, but I have Dallas covering.
Okay.
Boy,
by 4.
we're opposite on
Now,
a
here's
lot.
the big question. How many times will Tom punch the bar if we're at the Vets Club after the Pine Room Golf outing?
Well, if not there, then he'll do it at home, and Peach will run upstairs and hide under the bed.
Yeah, run for the hills, Peach. All right, and then Monday night, finishing it up so these guys can go to Bocce. It's the Bills at the Jets. The Bills -2.5. The total 46.5. It's September 11th. It's New York City. It's going to be a highly emotional contest. Aaron Rodgers will surely have all the focus on him. He'll do whatever he can do to get that tension. But I don't know. I want to say I want to bet the Bills in this matchup, but I really don't have a strong play here. I would lean towards the under in the game. What do you think, Coach?
The Bills spoil the party.
Okay. All right. I can see that. Chris?
No, the Jets are going to come out flying.
Wow, you guys are
Man,
at
we are
odds.
I don't know. I
opposite.
just think with and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and the Jets fans finally probably have a really legitimate high expectations, but they got so much talent, defense, and good offense. So I'm not sold on Buffalo. I mean, they're still good, but they seem something. I don't know, like they've lost something. I don't know what that.
No, I'm with you there.
But I'm gonna
hope
take
not.
the Jets at the home opener, and I think it's gonna be a very good game.
All right.
but I'm gonna take the Jets.
Monday Night Football. We'll see you down the Vets Club. All right, that's going to do it. I'm going to let these guys go to Bocce. We're going to take a quick break, and we are going to be back with Sam. It's Bettor's Last Stand. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back in. Bettor's Last Stand. Had to let Coach and Chris get out of here before we conclude segment number 2. Going to be joined by Sam in the third segment to talk about racing, and we get his thoughts on some of the things in the NFL. But I wanted to just mention a couple of things. The Penn State game, obviously, if you were watching that game, really bad beat if you had the 49ers, the Mountaineers, in the under in the game, which Coach was on the Mountaineers. I was on the under. West Virginia gives up a touchdown with 6 seconds left. Penn State tried to score late. They should have just kneeled on it, but they did not. James Franklin takes a lot of heat for that, and it's pretty clear now, and we'll talk about this on the radio. We talk about it on a podcast on this show as well. We just didn't have time today, but these coaches are well aware of the spreads now, and you need to be aware of which coaches are going to try to cover for their boosters and benefactors, because that's going to make a difference going forward in this situation. Penn State was one of those. James Franklin, well aware of the spread. He gets the late touchdown, pushes the game over, covers the spread, and people are miserable on one side and very happy on the other side. Also, same situation, Kentucky. They were leading 37-14 against Ball State, and they threw the ball on their last drive that started under maybe 35, 40 seconds left in the game. They score with 6 seconds left to win 44-14 to cover the spread as well. So, again, start taking notes about which coaches. So you got Mark Stoops, you got James Franklin, both of those coaches looking to cover the spread. So if they're favored in games and you like the other side, be very leery. If they have a chance late, they will definitely try to cover the spread. I don't see that changing at all. The American Gaming Association reports that 1 in 4 adults in the United States will make an NFL wager this season. An estimated 73.5 million people will bet on the pro football games throughout the season, as betting is growing at a rapid pace. Colorado and TCU, as I mentioned, anticipated to be the largest, actually that was last week, but one of the largest handles of a regular season game ever. And then this week's Colorado game is expected, Colorado versus Nebraska, expected to be one of the most heavily bet regular season games in the history of college football, which is just fascinating stuff. Sport Trade launches in Colorado, is now available in Colorado and New Jersey. It's a betting exchange. It allows bettors to kind of make investments in sports betting like it is in the stock market. So it's a little bit different than traditional sports books. Very similar to stock trading, according to the founder, Alex Kane. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Inter Miami in MLS, down to 6-1 now to win the MLS championship. They started at 200-1 when Lionel Messi joined the team. So it's just pretty crazy. And then quickly in the AFL, we have some matchups this week in the AFL finals. Collingwood visits Melbourne. Or actually, Collingwood hosts Melbourne. Collingwood -2.5 in that game. I think that's going to be a really close game. I'm going to give out all these picks. You got Carlton in Sydney playing on Friday, St. Kilda in Greater Western Sydney on late Friday night our time, and then Brisbane and Port Adelaide on Saturday. So the final 8 are set. They had a week off last week to rest up and get ready, and they'll be ready to smash each other to bits out on the AFL Park in Australia this weekend. So check out BLS_PRP for all of my plays there. Tennis-wise, we're looking very good at some of our quarter bets right now. Sabalenka through to the quarters, or to the semis. Medvedev just won as we're taping the show. He's through to the semis. Djokovic through to the semis. And Coco Gauff, who's playing exceptional tennis right now. So if you jumped on those plays back on the social media train, hopefully you saw them and made the wagers. So yeah, it's been a pretty good U.S. Open. All right, that does it for this segment of Bettor's Last Stand. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and Sam's going to join me. We're going to talk about racing and probably get his thoughts on college football and NFL week number 1. It's Bettor's Last Stand. We'll be right back.
Reminder: Bettor's Last Stand is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. You're watching Bettor's Last Stand.
All right, welcome back in Bettor's Last Stand. Matt joined by Sam now as Coach and Chris had to depart for the big bocce showdown. They're getting towards the playoffs, and they have a colossal battle with one of the teams fighting it out for first place. Sam, welcome to the show. It's your brother's birthday today, so good vibes in the family. And how's your week been, and what are you excited for the most about this weekend?
Yeah, we'll give the first, like you said, the birthday shout out to Max. Happy birthday, the big 3-0. Excitement, Matt. This tennis has been holding me over.
Oh yeah,
I'm all in.
Yes,
I've liked tennis. I mean, I love watching sports, but something about this one in particular, it is sticking out to me. Of like, oh yeah, I love tennis.
Yeah, it is
so
awesome.
I really just been all over tennis all week and last weekend. So that's what's got me really excited.
I love it because I'm the same way. It is on my house constantly the entire time. I love it. I just had another pick that I'd given out earlier. Medvedev advancing to the semis. I had him. We had Sabalenka. We had Coco Gauff. We had Djokovic. So we actually, if you did a 4-teamer with them to win their quarters, looks like we're going to be a winner. So exciting there. And yeah, the tennis action has just been absolutely superb. I really, truly enjoyed that men's match last night. I ended up falling asleep during it, but it's so damn good. And some of these women's matches have been awesome. Sabalenka playing awesome. Karolina Muchova playing incredibly good. Coco Gauff playing outstanding. This is it's going to be a fun weekend. I'm really looking forward to watching these finals of the men's and the women's.
Who do you like? You think Shelton can go?
Boy, I had him last night. I had that match over, and I had him. I don't know. I just don't see anybody being able to beat Djokovic or Alcaraz on the men's side as much as I'd like to see him do it. But I'm not saying he can't take a set off of those guys. And Medvedev is really good too. I've been on Joker. I just think he's just so good still. He's just so good mentally. I think that he just kind of has an advantage over people. So probably had to lean him in the men's side, and then the women's side, man, I don't know. Sabalenka was awesome today, but Karolina Muchova, like I said, she's so good. She's got so many different dimensions to her game she can play, and Coco Gauff's playing as good as anybody in the world right now. So I can't discredit her at all. So I think it's going to be a really exciting weekend. What about you? Who are you leaning towards?
I want Shelton to be like,
right.
You love the underdog story, but you're right. Joker or Alcaraz. Like, I was watching Alcaraz, and he chased down this ball, and he just, like, gave it a little flick with his wrist, and the power that, he returned it with was just incredible. And he's Shelton's age, too. It's like, all right, man.
Yeah, no, and he's had a great showing, and he's going to build off of it, and I think eventually he may have a game that's suitable to be able to compete with some of these guys in the future as he continues to get a little bit more experience, but he's going to have a hard time beating Djokovic. I mean, it's just a tough matchup for a guy of his age to be able to do. And yeah, these guys, I mean, Alcaraz, Medvedev, Djokovic, they're just at a little bit different level than these other guys, and even Medvedev a touch below the other two. But Medvedev on this hard surface, the way he swings it, I mean, he swings the way he swings his racket, it's like the most effortless stroke. And I mean, he hits it so damn hard. He's definitely not to be overlooked here, but. I mean, Madison Keys for the girls too has played pretty good, but I just don't think that she's going to be able to get back past Vondrousova probably, and then if she does, Gauff and Muchova, that's going to be an incredible match tomorrow. So I'm greatly looking forward to that battle. But yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. There's a lot of girls that can win this. I'd say there's probably at least 3, maybe 4 girls that are live, and then I'd say maybe three men. But I mean, I'd love to see Shelton be able to. I think he could take a set off of him, but I don't know. That's gonna be tough.
Real tough.
Yeah. Anyway, tennis. If you haven't watched it, folks, check it out. It's a great sport to bet on. Really enjoyable watch. The U.S. Open, just something about that atmosphere, as Sam said, it's electrifying and just captivating to watch and just see all the pageantry and the just everything that goes with it. It's phenomenal stuff. Moving on. All right, let's jump over to racing. F1 is off this week. Same old story. Verstappen, Red Bull dominate. They go 1-2. Anything stick out? Ferrari at least brought it back. I kept waiting for those two idiots to collide with each other last week as they are going down in the final couple laps, and I'm like, oh boy, these two goofs, they might take each other out. And then Mercedes runs 5-6. Anything stick out from Italy outside of the usual? You gave out a nice one with Alex Albon finishing 7th. You gave him out as the top 10. Your F1 plays were pretty dialed in last week. What were your observations from Monza?
Yeah, it was good to see the Williams finish in the top 10. Like I've said, that he's starting to really prove that he is a good driver. That first little Red Bull stint wasn't wasn't what he actually is capable of. But one thing I did notice, Matt, that I find is very interesting, and they're not really talking about it too much, is that Aston Martin is 11 points away from Ferrari in the constructors. They have 217, and Ferrari is at 228. Not that really matters at all. We know who's in first.
Yes.
But if there's anything to look at or a little battle or anything to make it more interesting than watching Max drive around.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. It just makes you wonder if Lance Stroll could ever finish above like 9th or 10th, and then this week he was disappointing 16th. And then even Fernando didn't have his best this week either. But still plenty of races left for Aston Martin to make some noise.
Yeah, I'd agree. But, I mean, Max is Max.
Yeah. How many in a row can he do? I mean, he's got to there's got to be a week coming up here that he's going to have a little bit of something's going to go wrong for him. I would think. I mean, it just seems like it just maybe not. I don't know. Does he win 12, 13 in a row?
I think he does. And do you think they'll have an issue with it? Like if it's an all Red Bull, you know, winning season, you think that Formula One and the higher ups are going to be like, this is a problem?
I would say, yeah. I would say especially if it continues with no sign of change. I mean, yeah, the fact that no one else has been in victory lane. Well, actually, for this was podium, so it's they have, but they've never been on the top of the podium. So, I definitely don't think it's good for business. It's not great for our betting. We're trying to find value, and we give you out the double podiums and stuff. I mean, we're just trying to find anything that you can do at a decent price to try to scratch out some coin, but it isn't easy to find nice priced winners in this because you have so many teams that are just so vastly inferior to the top level, and it makes it difficult. But yeah, so Max Verstappen wins his 10th in a row, which is a record 10th in a row. Next we go to Singapore, take a week off. I don't know anybody that you're looking for to come out of this week off break with some momentum. Does Ferrari carry any momentum?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Maybe in like a fantasy world, but no, I don't think so.
Right. They can lie to themselves. I do like how some of the team principals and even some of the drivers is basically like, we're just racing for second or third. Like, we're trying to get to 6 on the grid. Like, that's about it. Like, that's all. At least they're honest. I will give them. There's not a whole lot of false optimism there.
No, there's not, man.
Which Red Bull's just crushed it out of everybody, I guess. So.
Crazy.
All right, let's keep it an open wheel. Move along. Alex Palou dominating last week. He gets the job done. The championship is obviously been put to bed for a while now. He holds off Newgarden and Will Power last week. Rosenquist ran okay as well. Your thoughts? Actually, no. I was looking at last year's Laguna Seca. So no, who won at Portland? I'm messed up. And it was who just won?
It was
the Portland?
Palou, Rosenquist,
yes, Palou,
Dixon, Award, Newgarden.
Yep, sorry, okay. Yeah, so Alex Palou, I was looking at the wrong sheet. Yeah, so Alex Palou again, domination. He's just been the man all year. I mean, can you take anything away from him? He's been probably the best driver from start to finish. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, he really. It was close in the beginning a little bit, but then he kicked it into second gear. I think Ganassi being behind him too was a big. I mean, Ganassi he makes good race cars, man.
He does.
It's just what they do over and over and over, and it's proof right there. And he earned it. He really did.
And we go to a place now, Laguna Seca in Monterey Grand Prix, and he's probably going to be the favorite as usual. He won here last year. Do you see any value on anybody? I thought Will Power was a little bit interesting, but I don't love anybody. What about you?
I'm getting a little crazy here. It's the last race of the year.
Yes.
So look at Kyle Kirkwood and Christian Lundgaard.
Okay. Both those guys won races earlier.
5 here last year, and they have both won this year, and they are way more in it this year than they have been. And it's the last race of the year. What do you have to lose?
Right. People will roll the dice. I agree. I think you could see a off the beaten path type winner here. So, yeah, Kirkwood and Lundgaard make a little bit of sense. Anybody else stick out to you? Roman Grosjean. Newgarden ran well here last year. Rosenquist, top 5. Yeah.
It's like, Matt, these McLarens, they're almost guaranteed for one of the 3 is going to be in the top 5. But,
yes,
they're never there. They're never there, and they're losing Rosenquist to Meyershank, which is odd.
Very odd.
I'm sure the money's pretty good, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that seems like a downward move, you would think, for him. But
yeah, maybe McLaren's more internally screwed up than we know. I mean, I don't know. But,
circuits, yeah.
Right, but I mean, yeah. Besides Kirkwood, Lundgaard, and any of the 3 McLaren drivers,
yeah,
I don't know other than Palou. Maybe Rahal was P4 in 2021. Yeah. I mean, look at Bobby Rahal, but look at what he did last week.
Yeah,
on the grid, and he finished 12th.
Yes, I agree. I think I like those 2 picks, though, Lundgaard and Kirkwood. I think they're solid. And, yeah, Palou just may go out in style and blow them all away. I don't know. I think those if you can find a decent price on Lundgaard and Kirkwood, I think rolling the dice makes a lot of sense there. So stick with Sam, and hopefully we can get you a decent winner in the final race of the season for the Indy cars. Moving on to the stock car boys. Darlington race, man, I was beating around the bush. Had a lot of the guys right in the mix there. Didn't have Larson. I was hoping Reddick could somehow get by him, and then he just started to fade. And then I was worried about Reddick getting caught for second, and because Busher was coming, and you called it last week, or even actually over the last few weeks. But like Busher is a live contender in this playoff mix.
Yeah, he is flying, man, and so is Keselowski.
Yes.
They're flying, man. I really think that either of those guys it could be a 1-2. I don't know, but there's not like Trackhouse in the beginning of the year, Chastain ran great, and then he was just off, and we hadn't seen him since. It's great to see him now, but ever since RFK, I would say middle of the year, maybe before the All-Star break, started getting these top fives, they haven't stopped.
No, they've turned it on. They've had speed everywhere they've gone. They've qualified pretty well, and they have been up in the top 10 and being factors in these races. If Brad Keselowski doesn't have a little bit of bad luck in a few of these races, he may have won one of them already too. He's definitely. I think he is absolutely live this week. I like him. He's a guy that I'm definitely intrigued by. But you can no longer dismiss RFK at all. Like, these guys are legitimate contenders. You got Keselowski at around 20-1 this week. And Busher, where the hell's Busher at? I'm looking on my sheet. I can't find him. But anyway, he's going to be at a pretty reduced prices. They're going to really, they're starting to get to the point where it's like these guys are legitimate contenders week in and week out, and they're right up there with the Hendrick teams. A Busher 15-1 going into the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas this week. All right, so going over to Kansas now. This is a track, a lot of guys have had success here, so you got a wide variety of winners. This hasn't been a track where it's been dominated by, I feel like this track, for all the knocks it takes, is being kind of boring. I feel like since the new cars, it's been a little bit more action-packed, a little bit more passing, and also they've kind of shared the wealth, I feel like, with the teams that have had some success here. Maybe the Chevys and the Fords have been a little bit better than anybody, but Denny Hamlin's been really good. So, what are your thoughts? Who's the guy that's your on the top of your radar, and then who's the guy that's kind of a dark horse for you?
All right, well, I'll jump to right at the top of my radar. I think Mr. Hendrick is going to get my guy into victory lane this week. I think William Byron.
Okay.
Is the victor of this race. He wasn't really in the mix when I looked at the numbers. He's never won here.
Right.
But just he drives for Rick Hendrick. He's the best driver, I guess, this regular season, you could say.
Right.
I just think he's going to be there. I don't know why. It's one of those things. I don't really have an explanation for it. As soon as I saw his name and how he ran last week, it's playoff time.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely got a different level of concentration now. You see, the best guys, they raise their game up. So Byron just knows he's getting into playoffs. He's not going to max out. It's just going to be steady. Not to say he's not trying to win, but, he's not going to take ridiculous risks. Well, it was a different level of guy, and you could see those types of drivers on hand last week. It's a different thing when you're racing for playoffs and being able to advance. And, so you got 3 races before they do a cut down. But Byron finished 3rd here earlier in the year. He was 6th here last year in this race. I agree with you. I actually have a guy, a dark horse guy that I'll go ahead and share right now. He shares a stable with Byron, but I've always liked Alex Bowman at this track. He's been terrible this year, absolutely terrible. But I think this is a track that he's got to have a lot of confidence in. And I think that maybe he can play spoiler here. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I think definitely worth a look at a top 10 or a top 5 here for a guy who's had a terrible season and could be quite a good value there for Team Hendrick. He's about 35-1 to win the race, but I really like him as a top 10 car this week and possibly a top 5 winning contending car. What do you think about Bowman's chances?
Yeah, I love that call. It's like the same thing applies of it's, he has not had a good season at all. But when you're in the Hendrick camp, man.
Yes. So you're going to have good wheels under you.
Right. I definitely think that's possible. I also kept looking at Martin Truex.
Yep.
I know he's not really like a dark horse, but he's won here in the past. He's been great this year, too.
He has. I find him to be a very solid top 5 car here in this race. I really do. I think he's just the guy. He's at 6-1. I probably don't want to bet him to win, but It would not surprise me whatsoever. He'll bring his A game here, and as will Denny Hamlin. I think both of those Toyotas would be very strong. What are your thoughts on Chris Bell?
I have Chris Bell here, and I also have Joey Logano.
Yes, I like Joey Logano a lot in this race. He's actually my pick to win. I think Logano, talking about guys who raise their level of competition when it's playoff time, this guy does. He's won here 3 times. And he's looking for some momentum. He had some issues last week, unfortunately. But no, I like Logano a lot this week.
Yeah, and like we've been saying it, Matt, he's been quiet.
Yes,
he's
very
been
much
quiet.
So. What are your thoughts? Well, we talked about the RFK guys. I think both of them are live. I have Keselowski. He was my second choice, so I had Logano. Keselowski is my top 2. Harvick is my steady top 10 bet. I think he's an automatic top 10 here. He did not run very well last week, actually, for Kevin Harvick. It's very strange. He was actually out of the top 20 for the late stages of the race, which is shocking. But I'll be using him probably in some top 10s and top 5s, Logano and Keselowski to win, and then Bowman with my long shot play. Any other long bombers that you're interested in outside of Bowman? Austin Dillon has run well here in the past, but man, he's been so shitty this year. I just can't back him. Anybody stick out?
I mean, people that have won in like the Xfinity race here are like Ty Gibbs and like Chase Briscoe. And I know those are crazy things to say, but
Briscoe actually ran well last week, too.
I know, he did.
He's picking it up a little bit. I think he knew he was going to get canned. So I feel like he's definitely been a little bit better in this last third of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think Gibbs will win or Briscoe will win, to be honest.
But I think Gibbs can be a top 10 car.
Oh, definitely. But a win, there's too much on the line.
Yeah, you're going to have a hard time getting by some of these guys. And another guy we haven't even talked about yet is Chase Elliott. He's run here well in the past, and another one in the Hendrick stable. I mean, the Hendrick cars, whatever reason, I don't know why. And it's weird how you get these predetermined things in your brain that, like, every time they go to Kansas, I'm always thinking Hendrick first to be the winning car, and it's not always turning out like that. I mean, Denny Hamlin won the last race, and the one before that, Bubba Wallace won. So, but for whatever reason, I just picture Hendrick cars just get locked in at that track for whatever. Maybe it was more so in the old car, but I guess you can't really ever dismiss Elliott.
No, and he was somebody I was looking at too. Like, I think it could be somebody quiet that hasn't made a lot of noise, like the Logano, Elliott. I mean, they're so good and they're so talented. I don't know what's going on.
You mentioned them earlier. Thoughts on Trackhouse? Do they save face here? They've been fading a little bit. I mean, Suarez actually picked it up for a stretch of races, but Chastain, who was 5th here in the spring, can he start to get some of the playoff magic back that he had last year?
I think he can. I mean, last week's finish is a big boost and a big start to that, and
yeah.
I just think it's going to be, if stick around, just be there in the end. I know that's a thing, but if you need to be the last guy that doesn't get eliminated every week,
right,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Look how he had to do it last year.
Yeah, well, that actually, Sam, that's a great point, because that actually works in a guy like Chastain's favor. When he's on the edge, he's probably better than if he's like safely in, you know what I mean? Where he's having to like knock people out of the way and then pull that thing that he did last year, to beat Denny Hamlin. I feel like guys like him are wired to be better like that than they are like, oh, he's safely in and he can just kind of cruise around.
You said it, Matt. Look what happened once he won.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Right. It's like, yeah, okay. He hasn't done dick since, but yeah.
Nothing.
So now it's a whole new season and things start over again. All right, last thing before we I'll get you some football thoughts going into NFL opening weekend. How many different guys are going to win races in this playoff season?
Ooh.
I mean, it could be 7 or 8, don't you think?
I was going to say, I want to almost say at least 6.
Yeah.
At least 6, because, man, there's like a big group of drivers that are running well.
Yes.
I mean, they are running well.
Yeah, and if any of those guys get the right break at the right time, then they could have won any of these races for sure. Last week, a perfect example. There was probably 5 or 6 cars out there on the track that easily could have, if things break their way, they win that race.
Any thoughts on Ryan Blaney? Any?
I really, really like Ryan Blaney. He's one of my favorite guys. I don't know. Like, I feel like he's always steady, but does he ever have that extra gear to just like start dominating? I just don't see it, unfortunately.
I don't either. I have a question mark by it. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I think he's a very good race car driver. I just think he's too damn nice of a guy, and I think that works against him a little bit sometimes.
I agree. I'm
hopeful he'll do all right. But anyway, all right, that concludes our Hollywood Casino 400 talk. Sam going with William Byron. I'm going with Joey Logano. I think it'll be a great race. And then what? We cut after next week, right? That's the first cut, 3 races? Yeah, okay.
Yes, I believe.
So, man, these things, I really do actually like. A lot of people didn't like how they set this up, but I think it's kind of cool. It kind of gives these little mini championship races that make things exciting. So, looking forward to that greatly from Kansas on. Is that a Saturday race or is it a Sunday race? I honestly don't know. I didn't write it down. Last year it was a
Kansas.
The spring was a Sunday. I think it might have been a Saturday last year. No, maybe not.
This one is a Sunday at 3.
Yep, Sunday at 3. Okay.
USA.
Okay, Sunday 3, USA. Don't miss it. All right, let's get your thoughts quickly on college and pro football. Anybody in college? You said you may give out 1 game a week. Anybody strike you as intriguing after your Hawaii Rainbow Warriors didn't quite come through, but it was a good effort.
I knew that. I had no chance. No chance. But you know what? I do have someone, and it's your shirt.
Oh,
the Miami Hurricanes.
Here we go. All right, I like this.
The Miami Hurricanes money line against A&M. I hate Texas A&M.
Me too. Oh, I hope you're right. Chris picked the same pick. I think we got a chance. I legitimately do. And if people know me well enough, they know I'm not just saying that. I'm not some false hope fan. I'll usually tell you when we stink, and we're not very good. But I don't think Texas A&M is either. So I like our chances. Good call.
And also,
yes,
I've seen the odds of plus 1,200 to plus 2,000 for Florida State to be the national champion. So
I think
get it now if they have another good week.
Yes. No, I'm with you there. I think they're very talented. They're going to be tough. Miami's really going to have a difficult time with them. Seminoles looked really impressive against LSU, who looked like a bunch of clowns when they just basically quit.
Oh, I was eating that up.
Brian Kelly at his finest, right?
Probably wanted to go up in a scissor lift himself.
Yes, that dickhead. All right, let's turn the focus. Steeler fans, Bosa signed just this afternoon, so I don't know how much of a difference that makes. First of all, let's get your thoughts on the Steelers and 49ers. Steelers catching 2.5 at home, the total 41. Any thoughts on that game?
I think it's going to be tough. I mean, it's a good matchup.
Yeah.
It's a good matchup. I don't know. It's just going to be a madhouse here if the Steelers lose this first game. It is going to be insane, Matt. People are going to lose their shit. No one, it's going to be some people back Pickett, some people don't. It's just that's going to start the great divide if they lose this first game.
How patient will they be with Kenny Pickett if he doesn't play good?
Maybe half the season. Honestly, it's crazy the stuff these people say here.
I feel like they'll give him a little bit more leeway because he's a Pitt guy, maybe. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just throw the ball to Pickens. That's what everybody says. Is as simple as that.
I think they're going to be all right. I do
too. I think they're getting slept on in that division. I think it's a mistake. I do. And I'm not a Steeler guy, but I will tell you, they to me are dangerous. They're dangerous in this game. San Francisco has not been very good in opening games. I think this is a very close game. I think I can see 17-14, something like that, either team. And I think the game probably stays under.
Yeah, I agree. It reminds me of everybody that was talking shit about Deion Sanders. Honestly, it's like they were saying, oh, your team's not that good, this and that, and all this stuff. And Coach Tomlin and his team, they got all these new guys in here.
Yes,
something they haven't done in a long time. Everyone's projecting them to finish last if you're not in Pittsburgh, especially Bill Barnwell. You fuck.
Yeah,
I fucking hate Bill Barnwell, man. God, he hates Pickett too. He hates him.
Yeah, I don't think that's very fair. The kid last year, it wasn't a lot of it. He's learning stuff new for the first time. I didn't think he did that terrible. I thought he was okay. People overreact. People think it's easy to play quarterback. It's like this poor kid that played for Ohio State last week. They want to kill this guy. I know. Give him a chance. They wanted to do the same thing with Stroud, though. I remember his first game. They hated him get rid of this guy. He's terrible. These people are irrational. It's really not that easy to do. And when you got Matt Canada calling a plays, things could get tricky. But I think he'll gain more experience and be willing to make more checks at the line of scrimmage. It's got to be tough going in there as a rookie. Like, even if you think it's hard to be changing all the plays all the time like so many of these really good quarterbacks do. But as time goes on, I feel Pickett, I think he's going to be like the perfect kind of quarterback. He's going to be a well above the average play. He's not going to be a superstar, but he's going to be adequate enough for them to be able to win with their good defense, and if they would ever bring back the running game that the Steelers used to have.
I think this could be the year. They got 3 people they could pound it with. So
yeah, and it seems like their offensive line got better too. So
right.
We'll see. Sunday, anybody else in the NFL stick out to you, games that you're interested in, or maybe a play or two that you like?
I got a couple plays. I got 2.
Ooh, yeah.
And they're simple. Football to me is like you overthink football and it just it becomes almost not fun. It's simple. Anytime touchdowns. People that score touchdowns. Zay Jones plus 310 anytime touchdown against the Colts. The Colts stink. I think they're one of the worst run organizations. I just think they're bad on defense. Zay Jones.
Love it.
Plus 310 anytime. And then this man always scores. He plays 3 positions. He's been in the league forever. Cordarrelle Patterson, plus 285 anytime touchdown against the Panthers. He's got too many ways to score a touchdown for you to not sprinkle a couple dollars on it.
I like that play a lot because people are like ignoring that guy because they got other horses now. But I agree with you. Patterson is going to be a guy that's so good when he gets the ball in his hands. He's going to be on the field. If he's on your roster, you got to have him out there, even if you're going to use him in a decoy. And we all know the decoy, one touch is all it takes, and he scores. And and you know how many guys in fantasy get pissed. Like their guy does all the work, and then Cordero will be the guy to finish off the drive somehow.
Yeah. So I think that just because he has so many options to score, I think Cordarrelle could easily get into the end zone.
Love it. All right, Cordarrelle Patterson and Zay Jones. Anytime touchdowns from Sam. I love it. Any other thoughts on the sports weekend coming up before we let you go?
Baseball is getting towards the playoffs. Oh, yes. I will say this: the American League, I think, is where you're going to find your money for a World Series bet.
I agree.
I cannot see the National League winning the World Series at all.
Yeah. Right now, I think with the Urias situation, I think the Dodgers are in big trouble now. Their pitching's just not going to be good enough in the playoffs. And then Atlanta, I feel like Atlanta's just had it on easy street, and it worries me like a team like the Phillies that gets hot, kind of like last year, and could maybe beat them out. And but I'm with you. I think right now I gotta say the team's playing the most consistent may be Houston. It's like they kick it in right at the right times, like they always do.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could sprinkle some money on Texas to win the West.
Yeah,
it was a good number, but I mean Altuve was awesome last night.
Jeez, his last couple games have been ridiculous.
Yeah, he's been sick.
Yeah.
I still think they're a bunch of cheaters, but obviously there may not be because they're just good.
Yeah, no, I know. Maybe they didn't even need to cheat, right?
right, but they still cheated.
They still did, them. Yeah. So did probably a bunch of other ones that never found out about. But anyway, all right, Sam, have a great weekend. Best of luck with the picks. Thanks for joining us. As always, great analysis. And are you going down to Morgantown to celebrate your brother's birthday this weekend?
Well, actually, Matt, they have a wedding in Pittsburgh, so they're coming up Saturday with the baby, and nice. I'm the babysitter. So
all right. Uncle Sam and Greta are going to watch sports.
I'll show her the Xfinity race.
Awesome. I love it. And a little tennis action, too. Maybe she'll be a tennis player.
Oh, yeah, we'll show her.
All right. Awesome. Sam, thanks. We'll talk to you next week, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Good talking to you, Matt.
All righty. See ya. All right, that's Sammy P. from Upper St. Clair giving us great analysis, as always, here on Bettor's Last Stand. We appreciate his time and effort. We appreciate Coach and Chris taking time before they headed off to their bocce contest over at Belair. Big weekend. Lots of high school, college, and pro football action, fantasy football, tennis, NASCAR, no F1, but IndyCar. Tons of stuff. Baseball, full swing. Getting close to NHL and NBA right around the corner. That's going to do it for us. Bettor's Last Stand. Be sure and check us out on social media at the Pine Room Studios, BLS_PRP on Twitter for the plays that we put out each week. Some of the ones that are time sensitive that will be out before Jub puts the ones up on Instagram and Twitter on Friday and Saturday. If you want those plays, be sure and follow us, BLS_PRP. And then, again, thanks to our sponsors, Gumby's, Jill's Gentlemen's Club, IC Cab, everybody's just been so super kind to us as we joined the Watchdog team a while ago, and just everything that we've been a part of. The Duggar Saucy Spread Challenge, week number 3. So again, thanks to Duggar and the amazing job that he does with his tailgate foods and all the stuff down there. My parents now live kind of close, like up the 29th Street home from Duggar, so I've been hitting it up a little bit more than even I used to. So hats off to Duggar. Glad everything's going well for him. Great sponsor, just super nice guy, and has a great product down there. His food's just out of this world, and just this is a really nice store all together. So again, thanks to all of our sponsors. It's the Gumby's and Jill's Gentlemen's Club Football Friday show, noon to 3 on Friday. WKKX, can't miss it. We'll talk all about the high school games. Duggar's Saucy Spread week 3. We'll be picking the games against the spread in high school football, and our 14-person challenge, which is now entering week 3. So Soup on top on that one, but he's got plenty of company up near the top of the mountain. So long way to go. We're looking forward to it. If you haven't checked out all the other stuff we have on social media, get on there. We had Mike Florio in studio last week. We got the Mike Florio podcast coming out, which would have been yesterday. So if you missed that, get on it right now after you're done listening to this. Until then, we will see you on WKKX, the Watchdog, and across the other platforms here in the Pine Room Studios. That'll do it for Bettor's Last Stand. We'll be back next week on episode 53 to recap NFL Week 1 and college football Week 2. It's Bettor's Last Stand. We'll see you next week.